Hey, what's up guys, it's Kale here. I'm a filmmaker and a surfer. The tutorial that you are about to watch is from my brand new online course. It's called the Intermediate Surfer's Roadmap, and it's designed to take you from intermediate level surfing all the way up to advanced. And it's a very comprehensive and powerful course that I've been working on for the past few months, and it's now available at thesurfersroadmap.com. So make sure you check it out via the link in the description below. There's a ton more info and there's a lot of helpful cues and techniques and tips to learn how to apply the things we're going to talk about in this video here today and to correct some common mistakes. Cheers. Oh, and by the way, hit the like button, subscribe, let me know in the comments what are you working on your surfing. Okay, roll vid. The biggest questions I get asked when it comes to re-entries is when to do them and when not to do them. It's an important point to start with because re-entries are absolutely dependent on the section of the wave. It's almost impossible, in fact, to do a re-entry unless the section is optimal. So, what are we looking for in a good re-entry section? Well, we're going to have a look at some POV clips to help you guys out. We're looking for a steep part of the wave, one that's not fat and slopey, but rather where you can see the lip and where the lip has enough force and outward trajectory to create a coping of sorts that you can rebound off with your surfboard. Take a look at this wave here, for example. The first section of the wave is prime top turn cutback territory because there is a nice steep-ish curve to the wave, but not a strong lip. Significantly, however, the next section is perfect for a stock standard re-entry. Notice the differences between the two sections. To help you develop an even clearer picture with the advantage of POV, let's take a look through the GoPro at a top turn or cutback section versus a re-entry section to really see the difference from a surfer's point of view. If we pause them side by side, you can see the differences in steepness and lip availability in each. But remember, this can also be determined by the surfer. Naturally, the wave will have a steeper section closer to the pocket which the surfer can target, or the surfer also has the choice to target a wider point of the lip and go for a top turn or cutback style maneuver. Often though, sections make themselves obvious to you, and depending on a variety of timing elements, you'll be able to make an instinctive choice when it comes to picking your approach. So let's jump back to our original side-by-side here and take a look at the technique now. Our biggest challenge here between the top turn approach and the re-entry approach is the timing of the extension upon approaching the lip. Take a look at the different release points using the nose of the board as our indicator in each clip. For re-entries, we actually need to hold our bottom turn for a longer time in order to rotate through the dial to point vertically as opposed to more horizontally with the top turn. Additionally, there is often less of a jumping action involved in the re-entry bottom turn because there is more risk of having too much speed in a re-entry than there is in a top turn. This is because we need to drastically alter our direction of travel with a re-entry. A sharper and shorter rotational change can only be managed with a certain amount of speed after all. The next thing we notice is the rotation, which is an interesting thing to analyze in re-entries because even though the intensity of the rotation is increased, the duration and amount of rotation is mostly reduced. A re-entry is rebounding off the lip and continuing down the line. In a re-entry, you often don't have time to change directions too much because the wave will continue on without you, with you getting caught behind if you do so. Sometimes an end section of the wave or a steep section with an immediate fat shoulder, you can commit even harder to the re-entry and rotate further through the dial. However, we will cover these types of advanced maneuvers in the Advanced Surfers Roadmap. This is where we talk about rotational re-entries. For now, we are seeing the surfer and training you to go through an approximate 90 to 180 degree rotation with the upper body and head. This rotation should send a fast torsion to the lower body and be accentuated with a final kick of the back leg into the lip, which has the effect of throwing more spray and creating a strong rebound off it back down the wave. This turn follows the exact same principles as our top turns. However, we are shortening and intensifying the rotation and introducing the final kick or kinetic expression earlier in the process. Importantly, there often needs to be a slight reconnection between the shoulders and the hips with this maneuver. This means aesthetically, visually, we actually might see the torso counter-rotating towards the tail end of the maneuver in order to link back up with the lower body before heading back down the wave. This will happen quite naturally as you do the turn. Visually, this is more obvious on the forehand than the backhand, and the surfer should really place their focus on the first intense rotation and allow the second half to happen naturally after the kick through. So, in summary, a forehand re-entry. Number one, the surfer releases his coiled spring into a jump more vertically and gently than for a top turn. Number two, the surfer performs a short and fast rotation with the upper body, approximately 90 to 180 degrees, more for slower waves, less for faster waves. Number three, the surfer allows the torsion to run through the body and accentuates that release with a final kick of the back leg, essentially stabbing at the lip or rebounding off of it with the tail of the board. Number four, the surfer realigns the body, then recompresses on the way back down the wave to recapture speed. On the back end, things are quite similar, although there is less of a difference between the top turn and the re-entry, especially from a kinesthetic perspective, how it feels. Again, we see the surfer focus on the upward lift of the leading arm coupled with rotation. However, this neutral position at the top of the backside bottom turn for a re-entry should naturally be more vertical than it is with a top turn. Then we see a strong punch down and across the body. This is generally a just as strong rotation as a forehand re-entry. However, because of the orientation of the body, it is typically a somewhat further rotation, closer to the 180 degree mark than on the forehand. Again, the greatest difference here between a backside top turn and a backside re-entry is the timing of the kick. The kick on the re-entry happens much more close, almost simultaneously, to the rotation, allowing the kinetic expression, the extended back leg, to be sent upwards at the lip instead of sideways across the face. So, summarizing the backhand re-entry. The surfer rotates and lifts up into the lip with their bottom turn. The surfer performs a short and fast rotation with the upper body, punching down and across the body in a rapid motion. Number three, the surfer allows the torsion to run through the body and accentuates that release with a final kick of the back leg, essentially stabbing at the lip or rebounding off of it with the tail of the board. And number four, the surfer realigns the body, recompresses on the way back down the wave to capture speed. Let's have a look at some common mistakes when it comes to re-entries. Thanks so much for watching, guys. My name is Kale Brock. You can join me on Instagram as well, at Kale's Broccoli. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And of course, make sure you check out the Intermediate Surfers Roadmap. There's a whole bunch more information like you've seen in the video today. Common mistake fixes, technique cues, and a whole bunch more. It's really, really helpful. So make sure you check it out, and I'll catch you guys soon. Cheers.